Welcome students. Welcome again to my another new lecture. I am Muhammad Tanvir Ahmed, lecturer, Department of Civil Engineering, World University of Bangladesh. Irrigation scheduling. We know scheduling means to set up a plan. Irrigation scheduling means to set up a plan or time schedule for irrigation. So we can say irrigation scheduling is a program for application of water at the right time, in the right amount, and by the right method. Then necessity of scheduling or objectives of irrigation scheduling. First one, management of water so that it is only at the right time and in the amount needed, so that the loss of resources and money may reduced, and also no hamper causes in food production. Then in water short areas, this can result in increased yields through an extension of crop areas. Where there is a scarcity of water, we can reach at yield by proper scheduling. Necessity of irrigation scheduling. It can help to alleviate drainage problems which may result from excess water application. If we apply water which is necessary for a plant to grow, excess irrigation will be reduced and drainage problem will be alleviated. The last one is, it can also reduce loss of nutrients through deep percolation. If we add excess water to land, it will percolate deep through the soil and will wash away the nutrients from soil. So, over-irrigation is not good for land. Before irrigation scheduling, it is necessary to know that the soil moisture available for crop, because the moisture which has depleted, we only manage them by irrigation. Rate of daily water used by the crop. It will help us to find the interval of irrigation. Dependable factors. Irrigation scheduling program depends on the following factors. First one, soil types, because the moisture holding capacity of soil varies with types. Then crop information. We know each crop requires a different amount of water to live. Meteorological information. Rainfall is the natural sources of irrigation, and the additional water we have to manage by scheduling. Methods of irrigation, because losses of water differs with irrigation method. Soil moisture available for crop, which we have discussed in the last page. Rate of daily water used by the crop. This is directly related to the scheduling. Last one, consumptive use of irrigation water. Consumptive use is the use of irrigation water by the plant. Irrigation scheduling. It is a worksheet for moisture balance for scheduling irrigation and is used for weekly or daily basis. The irrigation schedule contains three major items. First one, water holding capacity of soil in root depth. That means the maximum amount of water that can hold in soil within the root depth. Then, estimated crop evapotranspiration, which is ETC. That means the amount of water evaporated by the leaves of the crop and also from the surrounding soil. The last one, soil moisture balance at the beginning of the scheduling period. Then fill capacity. The water holding capacity of soil against the gravitational force is called fill capacity. The fill capacity Fc corresponds to a soil moisture tension of about 1 by 10 to 1 by 3 atmosphere. Permanent wilting point PWP. The condition of the soil moisture content at which plants or crops no longer able to extract sufficient moisture from the soil to meet its water need is called permanent wilting point or simply wilting coefficient. So we can say this is the moisture level below which plant cannot use water to live. Gravitational force. The water in the large pores that moves downward freely under the influence of gravity is known as the gravitational water. This is the water between the saturated point and fill capacity. In another way, we can say the water which can move through the pores of soil with the help of gravitational force is called gravitational water. Total available water in a soil, that is TWA. The amount of water which will be available for plant in the root zone is known as total available water. It is the difference in volumetric moisture content at fill capacity and at permanent wilting point multiplied by root zone depth. So total available water TWA equal to moisture content at fill capacity minus moisture content at permanent wilting point into depth of root zone. Management allowable depletion MAD. MAD is the degree to which the water in the soil is allowed to be depleted by management decision and is expressed as F into TAW, where F equal to factor which depends on soil type and TAW means total available water. So we can say MAD is the allowable depletion of water in the soil with the proper decision of the irrigation scheduling management. Generally, water in the soil starts depleted sometimes after irrigation, and when reached at a certain level, then irrigation is required. This certain allowable depletion level is called MAD, which is management allowable depletion. The above definition we can easily understand from this diagram. Here in this diagram, this part is dry soil, and dry soil means that there exists 0% moisture content. And when we go top of this diagram, and if their water content exists 100%, then this soil is called saturated soil. And from top layer, this soil is called gravitational water or excess water. That means within this depth, water can enter into the soil with gravitational forces. Below gravitational forces, there exists fill capacity. That means up to this depth or this limit, soil can store water against gravitational forces. As we will go down, moisture content will reduced, and this level is called soil water deficit. That means there is a deficiency of water in this soil. Below this point, it is called current or measured soil water content, and this point can be here, here, or any other point, but it will be upper than MAD, that means management allowed depletion, and most probably in the middle point of available water capacity there exists MAD, that means management allowed depletion, and when moisture come to this level, we need to add water into soil. And this last point is called permanent wilting point. That means below this point there exists dry soil, and below this point plant cannot extract water. So when permanent wilting point comes, we need to must fill up moisture content in soil so that plant can regain its strength again. Crop evapotranspiration. The depth of water needed to meet the water loss through evapotranspiration of a disease-free crop growing in large field under non-restricting soil conditions, including water and fertility, and achieving full production potential under the given growing environment is called crop evapotranspiration. Simply we can say it is the depth of water needed to meet the water loss through evapotranspiration. Then crop coefficient, which is Kc. Crop coefficient Kc can be defined as the ratio between ETC and ETO, where ETC is the crop evapotranspiration and ETO is the crop coefficient. Effective rainfall. Effective rainfall is the amount of rainfall which can be used by plant for its growth. So we can say the rain that is retained in root zone and used by plant is called effective rainfall. Effective rainfall RE can be written as total runoff minus runoff, actually that is the surface runoff, minus evaporation minus deep percolation, which we can say RE equal to R minus R naught minus E minus P. These are the formula which will be used in calculation. We can calculate WHC, that means water holding capacity, using this equation, where WHC equal to FC minus PWP into RD. Here FC equal to field capacity, PWP equal to permanent wilting point, and RD equal to root zone depth. Then this available water, which is WHC, is multiplied by an allowable depletion factor to determine the allowable depletion AD1. So we can calculate allowable depletion AD1 using this equation, where allowable depletion AD1 equal to WHC into AD, where WHC equal to water holding capacity and AD equal to allowable depletion factor. Then we can calculate the current deflation, which is CD, using this equation. So we can see current deflation CD equal to ETA plus previous deflation, if any, minus actual rainfall plus irrigation, where ETA equal to actual crop evapotranspiration, and we will add previous deflation with ETA if we have any previous deflation data. Otherwise we will normally use ETA. Then we can calculate the predicted evapotranspiration, which is ETC, by multiplying crop coefficient Kc and the reference crop evapotranspiration ETR. So the equation is ETC equal to ETR into Kc, where ETC equal to predicted evapotranspiration, ETR equal to reference crop evapotranspiration, and Kc equal to crop coefficient. Then the predicted depletion is calculated by adding the predicted evapotranspiration and current depletion and then subtract the rainfall from it. Actually, this predicted depletion is the amount of irrigation required. So that is the end of our today's lecture. Thank you everyone.